Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show, third hour of the program. Tasha Kheiriddin is on the line. Of course, you know her, writer, commentator, media person extraordinaire. You can read her words on her Substack and in the National Post, and she's back with us. Welcome back, Tasha.
Hi, Elias.
So, you know, as often happens, you write a piece, and I know you don't do the headlines, but I appreciate the headline in your latest piece in the National Post, which is this. The civilized world finally sees Hamas for the murder cult that it is. And of course, I'll just add, we got the latest numbers I got in front of me, 1,200 Israelis killed, 2,700 wounded. Tasha, what's the clarity that you have on Hamas?
Well, the clarity is that they're not seeking any kind of peace or liberation or statehood for the Palestinians they purport to represent. They really are a proxy for the fight that Iran is taking to the West. They want to destabilize. They said previously they want to wipe Israel off the map. And here, what they did was perpetrate an attack against civilians. You know, they did attack a couple of army bases, but they attacked mostly civilians. And in the most barbaric way. I know we don't like using that word, but it really, in this case, applies. You know, the crimes they committed are gruesome and horrible, and it's just butchery. So, yeah, it is, you know, they glorify violence. They glorify it through martyrdom and other means, and that is what they did. They just went on a rampage to basically, I think, I mean, there's other political theories as to why this is happening too at this time, but I think the main reason was to torpedo the peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel that was on the verge of being signed, and that the Palestinians did not like, and Hamas in particular, and Iran did not want. So, you know, this attack's been a year in the making apparently, but there's also the fact that process had also been ongoing. And I think it's not a coincidence that this happened now.
This is a group that doesn't even like the thought of normalized relations between countries in the Middle East and Israel. So, Tasha, you've got this clarity. In this country, politically, there are some politicians that have that clarity as well, but there are some that don't. You know, in Ontario, I'm seeing this NDP, provincial NDP, MP, Sarah Jama, please, that's her name, right? Am I getting that off the top of my head? Yeah. And she certainly doesn't have the moral clarity that you do. Both sidism at best, in fact. So, what? Yeah, no, not even, right? She's on team. It seems like she's on the bad guy side.
Yeah, and what she's doing is she's taking this argument to places that other academics are taking it. Some politicians, but mainly academics. That this is an example of decolonization. That, you know, we got to decolonize Israel. Excuse me? I said, you know, this isn't decolonization. This is depravity. You're not decolonizing anything here. The whole conversation we've been having in society for quite a while, and in Canada as well, you know, the notion of decolonization and what that means for Indigenous people, et cetera. It's a theater of the absurd, what this woman is saying. And, you know, I think Norman Spector actually had a really good tweet today, response to that argument, and said, well, actually, you know what? The decolonized people here really are the Jews, because they were kicked out of their country millennia ago, and they came back, right? They were given back land. They were indigenous people to what is now Israel, and they were forced out. They wandered the world, and then they were given back territory that they had been living in. So that is actually, they were the dispossessed. So to call them colonizers now is highly ironic. Yes, obviously there is a fight for different parts of the country, and I do think a two-state solution would be ideal and should be achieved, but now won't be because of what's happened. It's like, you know, good luck with that. It's never going to happen. But that would have made the most sense. But to say that this is, you know, it blows my mind that the left, and I'll say it, the left wing academia and this whole conversation about decolonization is now being applied to this situation. When you see kids being butchered at a music festival, babies being killed in a kibbutz, like, how is that? Is that what you want? That's what it means to you to decolonize something? You're sick. That's just sick.
Well, that is the insidious nature of the decolonization narrative. It's on full display. So I wonder, Tasha, if we can look at, like, do you view what's going on right now, you bring up academia and obviously there are issues. There's a by the way, just on the subject we were just talking about, there's a reporter for The Guardian who is taking issues with other colleagues in the UK because they use the headline 40 babies beheaded. And she's like, well, we don't know for a fact that all the babies were beheaded.
Correct.
Okay, right? So, so we have media members, this is what they take issue with, right? So
it's issue with that. They've taken issue with the Quint, an organization I will fully confess I'd never heard of. Never heard of it. It's the 5 nuclear powers within the G7.
Yeah.
And the fact that Canada didn't sign a declaration by those 5, all of a sudden we've discovered the Quint, and it's a big deal. It's like, really, this is a sidebar in this entire affair. Really?
Have some fun, and go to the Wikipedia page for the Quint, which is you know what it is? It's like a placeholder page because nobody knows anything about it. It's like
I know.
It's the most informal thing of all time. It's not it's a real thing, but it's not a real thing. But
Correct.
People are hung up on it.
Yeah, and that's what they got hung up. And I noticed that on social media, people attacking me in particular because I had said, well, why is Canada left out of this? Oh, you don't know anything, and retract your tweet. It's like, really? Is this the fish you want to fry?
Same with me. Same with me. They don't understand the Quint actually does come out of the G7.
Well, they do. Elias, this isn't disinformation.
Uh-huh.
This is a disinformation and distraction campaign, which, in fact, frankly, I think the entire exercise that Hamas is perpetrating it is a distraction campaign. It is designed to weaken attention to Ukraine in particular. Russia is just having a great time with all this. And also just to divide because, and this is another thing, because they know the U.S. is and did make an additional commitment to Ukraine, divide and conquer, divide the United States' attention between what's happening in Europe and what's happening now here. And bringing back the original theaters of war that we've unfortunately seen throughout the last half of the entire part of the last century. Europe was the biggest theater for the first half, and then the second half, the Middle East, was a very significant one. So we're going back to those spaces of those entrenched conflicts that have no resolution, that absorbed attention, that also created the need for military buildup on both sides, in Russia, but also in the United States. Mm-hmm. So it's a weapon of mass distraction too from other things that are going on in the world. And I think that's something we also have to keep our eye on, is like, what's the big picture here, and not simply what this attack has meant in the moment, but what it could mean down the road.
So, do you take any out of all of this? There have been instances, and we're starting to see it now, where the backlash to this kind of nonsense is there. Like, just look at what's happened, Harvard, NYU.
Oh my God.
There's backlash now to try and stop this nonsense. I mean, you see what's happening and politically with this Ontario NDP MP. There's tremendous backlash. So could we end up in a better place because of this backlash at the end of the day?
I don't know. I mean, silver lining and all this, like, maybe,
that's the thing, right? There's no silver lining to something so terrible.
If it took this to do that, I don't know if I want to, for those people who are dead. And, dead, I'll say dead on both sides, because there are Palestinians who don't support Hamas who will now be bombed into oblivion because Israel has to destroy Hamas, because otherwise this will happen again. And because Hamas did something so awful. And if someone did that to you, I mean, what Hamas did was essentially vengeance. It was an act of even war. It was an act of vengeance and terrorism, right? It's not going to achieve anything. It's just designed to strike back. And when people cheer that, they're essentially cheering vengeance. They're cheering cruelty for, things that have happened in the past. Yes, I mean, both sides have committed, acts of aggression against each other. People have died, innocent people have died, yes, on both sides, but this isn't solving anything. And this premeditated killing of, as you put it, like 1,200 people is killing, it is murder, like the headline said. I didn't write it, but my editor, I was like totally on board with this one. So I've asked them now, I want to see them before they go out. Because sometimes, but it's true. I mean, editors also, they have a word limit. They have to work within a certain thing. So I always respect that, but I like to know. And in this case, I'm like, it is a murder cult. It is a death cult, and it is terrible.
Tasha, we got to leave it there. It's always great talking with you. That headline Tasha referenced, the civilized world finally sees Hamas for the murder cult that it is. That's in the pages of the National Post. And of course, you can read Tasha at the National Post and on her Substack as well.